TV5 First Alert Forecast, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
Well, it's officially here, folks. It's Thursday, and we're talking about the winter storm that will be headed to the area tonight. And that starts as we get into the evening hours with a mix of precipitation. But thankfully, out there this afternoon, we don't have any of those impacts happening for us just yet. Here's a look at US 10 traffic out there moving along just fine. As you can see, the pavement doesn't have any issues out there either. The flags aren't waving there on the left hand side of your screen. So it's a calm afternoon for us thus far. One thing I do want to point out in this image here is you can still see some of that snow lingering on the grassy surfaces. What that means for us is the ground is plenty cold enough for this snow, so once it starts falling, and it's going to be heavy, it's going to start accumulating very quickly for us. And the other part of that equation is our air temperatures that we have out there. You're looking at really the mid to upper 30s for the thumb and down towards Flint. Once we get into the Tri-Cities, we're also starting to sneak into some of those warmer temperatures in there as well. But further to the west, you can see Mount Pleasant and Houghton Lake both in those very low 30s for us. So it's these contrast in temperatures that's going to align the chance for that rain and eventually that snow, and we'll talk about that more coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Here's a look at your sky tracker outside. As you can see, we've got the southerly breeze coming up here into portions of mid-Michigan, some rain off to the south, large area of snow off to our west, and a lot of that cooler air being filtered in from portions of Canada where some of those temperatures have been minus 30, minus 40 degrees. We won't get quite that cold here, but it is the cold air, that energy from that cold air, that's allowing this system to act the way that it's going to as we move forward. So come on over and take a look at this. We've got the hour by hour pulled up for you here. Again, that southerly breeze helping really warm up those temperatures for the thumb, Tri-Cities and Flint. We are still pretty cool here on the backside though. We start to see those showers moving into portions of mid-Michigan as we get into the mid to late afternoon hours. Eventually, as we get into the evening, the rest of that precipitation will start lifting up into portions of mid-Michigan. Lots of heavy snow for the west side. We're also going to have the rain for the east side. Now, as we get a little bit later into the evening hours, we're talking closer, 8 to 11 o'clock here. That's when we start to see this really sharp boundary between the rain and the snow. And I do think it'll be somewhere between I-75 and M24 probably. And that's where you can see the sharp contrast in those temperatures. Mid-30s for the thumb down to Flint, or somewhere in the middle for the Tri-Cities, and much cooler on the backside where we have that snow. So it's this little tango between the rain and snow that we have to deal with initially, but eventually that cooler air will push all of that out of the area as we go into the overnight hours for tonight and into tomorrow. We'll be left with all snow on the backside, lots of that wind out there as well with those cooler temperatures, and it's going to be the snow and that wind that's going to be causing blizzard conditions for us, and that's what we're really worried about as we move into portions of your Friday and Saturday as that snow will continue. Now notice here, as we've gone through Saturday, there hasn't looked like there's been much snow on the hour by hour, but it's the isolated showers that will still be moving off of Lake Michigan that could bring us some more of that heavy snow. So here's a look at those numbers now as far as who is expected to see what. In general, we've got a widespread 3 to 7 inches. Could be locally different depending on where you are. A couple of areas there, particularly the tip of the thumb and across northwestern portions of mid-Michigan, potentially 5 to 10 inches for us. Now, and remember, we're also dealing with these, gusty winds, 50 miles per hour or so. As that's happening, the snow is going to be pushed around a lot by the wind. So this is what we expect to fall, not necessarily what we expect you to find in your backyard when it's all said and done. That 7-day forecast for you. Busy as we get into the end of this week and into the weekend. We've got first alert weather days in effect for Friday and your Saturday. A few showers could linger into early Christmas morning. As we get into the start of the next work week, though, it does look like we should calm down a little bit and eventually warm those temperatures up from the teens that we'll have during the holiday weekend.
Stay with WNEM TV5 on air, on the go, and online for more news and weather updates.